Wi-Fi is so ubiquitous, it's all around us. It was something that was a nice to have, and during COVID days, it became almost a human right, a basic human right to have Wi-Fi to be able to stay connected, educated, and all that. So I'm like, what if we took Wi-Fi in the one place it's never being used?
Hey, this is Martha DeGrasse here again for Wi-Fi Alliance, and this is The Signal, our podcast where we bring you the inside track on Wi-Fi. These are meant to be smart conversations with industry leaders. We want to deliver a new perspective on the growing portfolio of Wi-Fi technologies that we see changing the connectivity landscape. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the use of Wi-Fi 6 for esports, and we are delighted to be welcoming Gino Dion. He is Director of Innovation Solutions at Nokia. Gino, thanks so much for being here today.
It's my absolute pleasure. I'm really excited about this.
So I wanted to point out your title is Head of Innovation Solutions, but it seems like a lot of what you do day to day is focused around gaming, which says a lot about what Nokia thinks is important with innovation. Give us a little bit of an overview of how that evolved with your job.
Yeah, absolutely. So I hold the title of Head of Innovation Solution in our network infrastructure business unit. I'm very lucky. I have a very special team. We don't sit in sales. We don't sit in traditional product groups. We don't sit in marketing. We're an agent of what we call positive friction. So what we try to do is to challenge a lot of the technologies and conceptions or misconceptions in many cases around the technology that Nokia develops. So we get to do very fun stuff with our customers, which are service providers, but also with a lot of the web scale players, the Apple, Google, Amazons, and Meta. So really lucky. And you're right, gaming. I mean, gaming is becoming a major choice when it comes to the selection of a broadband provider. So Nokia, as well as I'm sure all our competition, we're facing more and more questions every day in the RFPs or in product requirements say, what can you do to make me a better gaming provider? How can I become the best gaming provider? Because our consumers are asking for that. So yeah, over the last couple of years, a big part of what we've been doing is trying to figure out how do we translate all this cool technology that Nokia, as well as the industry in general, like the Wi-Fi Alliance and everything else, how do we take all the cool stuff in Wi-Fi 6, Wi-Fi 16, Wi-Fi 7, and make a better gaming experience? So you're spot on with that, Marta. That is one of our key focus at the moment.
So I bet you like telling your kids what you do at work, huh?
You know what? They just laugh at me a little bit. They're like, "You're a bit too old, Dad, to be doing that." But no, I'm a gamer at heart. I stream on Twitch and on YouTube on Friday nights and Saturday nights. So yeah, I've always been a gamer, so I kind of enjoy it. Absolutely.
Yeah, people way older than you are gamers. I can tell you that from personal experience. All right, tell us a little bit about the Apex Legends charity event with Wi-Fi.
Oh my God, this was so much fun. This all started actually last year. So the Nokia leadership team, Sandy Motley and the rest of the executive team, they challenged me and my team. They said, listen, we ship tens of millions of Wi-Fi enabled devices every year. We're on the Wi-Fi Alliance. We contribute to the IEEE. So why is it that nobody thinks about Nokia when we think about Wi-Fi? And I thought that's an interesting question. And the reality is Nokia is not a consumer-facing brand when it comes to residential broadband. No, we sell to service providers. We're a B2B, not a B2C. So to a certain extent, it's to be expected. That being said, we have hundreds of engineers, patents, and contributions to the industry. So we thought it'd be kind of neat to change the game. Today's gamer generation, so let's say the 15 to 30 years old, I'll go a little bit older there, they think of Nokia as a meme, with the unbreakable phone, the 3310s, or we're the old Snake game. We wanted to change that. How can we make people realize that we're a lot more than that? So the idea came, okay, well, Wi-Fi is so ubiquitous, it's all around us. It was something that was a nice to have, and during COVID days, it became almost a human right, a basic human right to have Wi-Fi to be able to stay connected, educated, and all that. So I'm like, what if we took Wi-Fi in the one place it's never being used? And we thought it'd be fun because of the gaming aspect. I said, you know what? Competitive esports is an area where Wi-Fi is a little bit taboo. If people's life depends on streaming content and playing every millisecond counts and lag, they don't use Wi-Fi. But I'm like, this is a missed opportunity because let's be clear, competitive esports is 0.001% of the broadband users out there. The vast majority are playing at home on their couch or sofa and things like that. But we wanted to really showcase the technology. So let's go see where the most difficult aspect, the place where Wi-Fi is not being used. So we came up with this idea. We're talking with our partners in the industry, such as Electronic Arts and Qualcomm and others. Let's do an esports event where everybody has to use Wi-Fi. And it was amazing because we went and got the top pros, that play Apex Legends and the top content creators from around the world. And 80% of the 60 participants didn't even have Wi-Fi on their gaming PC or streaming PC. So we had to ship them not just our access point, but we had to ship them network cards because they're like, we would never do this. Our lives and our livelihood, our capacity to make money off streaming, I don't want to risk it to Wi-Fi. So it was about changing that mindset, making people realize, hey, this isn't Wi-Fi from 10 years ago. Now we can show you that Wi-Fi has evolved so much that we can make it near deterministic. We can provide wire-like capabilities, performance, reliability. And we wanted to put to the test. So we wanted to do a real live event, no safety nets of any kind, no second takes, 60 players, 7 different countries, and we had a complete blast doing that. It was a lot of fun.
60 players. Now, how long did this tournament go on for?
Yes. So we played 4 games of Apex Legends. Now, why Apex Legends? It's a very popular first-person shooter, one of the primary IP of Electronic Arts. It's also a lot of fun because you're playing with avatars. So it's not a ultra-violent game by any means or anything like that. And we played 4 games, hide-and-seek style. So instead of doing a traditional shooter versus shooter, basically you had one team of 3 people that would go and try and seek all the others, basically. So it was really for a lot of fun. It was for charity too. So the event lasted about 2 hours. So for 2 hours, we had 60 participants, 7 different countries, all kinds of different network connection. But the one combining factor linking them all was the fact they were all doing it over Wi-Fi.
And the winner got to give $25,000 to the charity of their choice, or how many people got to donate to charity?
So the format that we used for the event was that we had one winner on the seeker team. So there's 60 people, but it's teams of 3. Since there was one seeking team and 19 hiding teams, we gave the best seeker a $10,000 donation. And then the best hiding team, each of the 3 members got a $5,000 donation each. So for a total of $25,000. And they picked great charities. I mean, we weren't there to police that. So we had the SPCA, we had children's hospitals. We had a lot of great charities that were nominated by the winners.
That's great, whatever they wanted. Okay, and what was their comment about the Wi-Fi experience?
Wow. So here's the funny thing. People had asked me, okay, well, what kind of telemetry are you going to be collecting? What kind of data and metrics? And the reality is we're not. Because if you want lab results, I have dozens of labs at Nokia that can give you, years worth of research. The idea here is, could we make a competitive event where people forget that they're playing over Wi-Fi? Can people just have fun, tens of thousands of concurrent viewers, millions of views after the fact? Can we have fun for several hours without anybody complaining about lag or having issues with streaming or having issues with gaming? If we can do this and have that whole population, that whole segment enjoy it without thinking they're on Wi-Fi, that was the key to our success. And that's exactly what happened. There was 0 negative feedback, 0 issues from any of the participants. No, like I said, I think we peaked at over 36,000 concurrent viewers during the event, millions and millions of VOD views. In fact, in the social media amplification of this event at Nokia broke about just every benchmark we had for social media interaction. 1.2 million impressions is what we had for this event across our platforms, which was mind-blowing. Like I said, we rewrote the benchmarks when it comes to social media interaction in terms of a press release or whatever. But the measure of our success here was, can we do this without anybody even saying or thinking they're over Wi-Fi? That was a complete success. We were super happy about that.
Okay, so did they do anything that they would not have been able to do over a wired connection? Or is there something in the future that they might be able to do in a gaming environment that you couldn't do if you were wired?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we wanted to provide a seamless experience. Whatever you do over wire, you can do over Wi-Fi. So that was our end goal there. So what we did is we sent a quote unquote care package to every 60 participant. In that care package, we had some swag, hoodies and cool little things. But we also had one of the Nokia beacons, or access point, if you will, which, is a Wi-Fi 6E. And we included a network card, like I said, because many of them didn't. And we wanted to show them that if you configure this and take advantage of the Wi-Fi 6E technology, it becomes near deterministic. It becomes like wireline-like experience, like as if you plug in a cable. And people say, okay, well, how come you didn't use Wi-Fi 7 and all that? It was a question of timing because we had to ship Wi-Fi 6E adapters to everybody in availability and different countries. We went with Wi-Fi 6E. That being said, I'm already being tapped for what's the next one, which we're absolutely targeting Wi-Fi 7 now that the aftermarket support and adapters are more available. We really want to do something even bigger and bolder, and we'll be looking at Wi-Fi 7 for that. But every participant got one of our Wi-Fi access points or beacons, and they got the network card to be able to connect to it as well.
So something bigger and bolder, how long until that might be on the horizon? Too soon to say, or you're still
it's
in the
a bit
planning
too soon
stages?
to say.
Yeah.
It's still the planning stage, but the reason is we got significant interest from carriers after this event. So we have a lot of tier 1 and tier 2s from around the world that said, hey, we'd like to do something like this in our footprint or in our area or in our country. We'd like to host that. So we're having simultaneous discussions with carriers from around the world into what this could become, basically. So we're quite excited. I'm not sure yet what the future holds. We definitely will have a follow-up, but in terms of timing and format, still undetermined at this time.
Yeah, you mentioned at the beginning that carriers come to you and say, hey, I want to be a better deliverer of a good gaming experience. So are their customers mostly talking about latency, about jitter, about how fast it is? What is the issue, or is it a combo of all those issues?
Well, I love that question, Marta. So I'll give you a real-life example. About a year and a half ago, we had a tier 1 carrier in North America, I won't name names, that reached out and said, listen, we have one of the best fiber networks in all of North America. How come we never voted the best gaming ISP? It's a fair question. And we did the whole program with them to touch to photon analysis, multiple markets, their competitors. What it came down to, that was important for them to realize, is they were focusing on the absolute lowest latency they could get. And they were right. Their network had the lowest latency. What they did not realize, though, Marta, is they also had the most inconsistent latency. They had a lot of jitter. So they had a lot of lag spikes. And when you're gaming, especially on online games, latency is important, but not nearly as consistent latency. And this is also what breaks video conferencing. Now, you can do a great video conference call at 80 millisecond latency without anybody having issues, as long as it's consistent. And it was the same thing for gaming. So what we enabled that carrier to realize is you got great low latency, but you also have the most unstable one. And it came because of their Wi-Fi. How they were configuring Wi-Fi and certain optimization they were doing was not conductive to use cases like gaming and video conferencing. So we're able to help them. And they've been voted the best gaming ISP in their market for the last year and a half now after this exercise. But when it comes to gaming, consistent latency. I'm sure you've seen kids on YouTube scream, lag, and lag spikes. So we want to eliminate that. And Wi-Fi 6E, and especially Wi-Fi 7, I brought amazing technology to be able to mitigate that. Things like multi-link operation, like spectrum puncturing that we have, it provides a near deterministic latency, and we really wanted to showcase that during the event, and I think that was a complete success as well.
It sounds like it was. So any other key learnings for the service providers that you haven't highlighted already that you specifically got from this event?
So I took advantage of the fact when running the event to run a couple of, we had draws for prizes and things like that. So I snuck in some survey questions.
Oh, smart.
And one of the questions I asked the hundreds and hundreds and thousands of viewers that we had, actually literally tens of thousands, I asked them, I said, would you consider changing service provider if they could prove to you that they offered a better gaming experience? And 81% of the respondents said, yes, I'd be willing to change service provider if I knew I could get a better gaming experience. Now, the other thing I wanted to find out is service providers are notorious for when they provide you a piece of equipment to put in the home, it's a race to the bottom. Give me the cheapest thing, the cheapest cost device that I can put that does these things. And that's okay. I mean, it's a big part of their business plan is having cost-sensitive devices. What they didn't realize, though, is their consumers are going to the electronics store down the street and spending $500 to $2,000 on advanced gaming routers and advanced equipment. So the service providers are leaving a lot of money on the table. Consumers are willing and are spending hundreds of millions of dollars a year on advanced routing and gaming equipment, and the carriers are failing to capitalize on that. So we want to show like you're leaving money on the table. If you're willing to offer a better game experience and you're willing to invest in optimized equipment for that game experience, the end users will pay for it. They already are, just not with you.
Yeah. Okay, well, that sounds like a pretty important takeaway. All right. You don't have to answer this, but do you think if you do this again with Wi-Fi 7, it'll be Apex Legends again or a different game, or too soon to know?
It's too soon to know. I mean, we have a great relationship with Electronic Arts, EA, but at the end of the day, we're about all kinds of games. So it's whatever the carrier or the need is at the time. What I can say is that Apex is a great intellectual property in the sense that, like I said, it's more cartoonish, it plays well, and you can add different game mode like the hide and seek format that we did. So it's a great platform for something like this.
All right. Gino Dion, Head of Innovation Solutions at Nokia. Thank you so much for being here on The Signal today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
That is our show. You can get The Signal straight to your device through Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and of course at the Wi-Fi Alliance. That's y-fi.org. I'm Martha DeGrasse, here for Wi-Fi Alliance. Thank you so much for listening. Please join us next time on The Signal.